Have you ever wondered about the complex relationship between Ukraine and Russia throughout history? This is a tale woven with threads of power, politics, and propaganda. From the early days of their shared past, through the epics of Tsardom, Soviet rule, and now, the post-independence era, the story is as intricate as it is intriguing. The Russian influence on Ukraine has been pervasive, shaping its sovereignty, identity, and world perspective. Prepare to delve into a journey through time, tracing the progression of Russian influence on Ukraine. Our journey begins in the 9th century, with the formation of the Kievan Rus. This medieval state, founded by the Varangians, was a significant cultural, political, and economic center in Eastern Europe. However, its influence started to wane following the Mongol invasion in the 13th century. This catastrophic event led to the fracturing of the Kievan Rus into several smaller principalities, making them vulnerable to external influences. Over the next few centuries, these lands fell under the rule of various powers, notably Lithuania and Poland. Despite the changing hands of power, the early seeds of Russian influence were already being sown, subtly shaping the region's destiny. The 17th century marked a turning point. The Treaty of Pereyaslav, signed in 1654, saw the Cossack hetmanate pledge allegiance to the Russian Tsar, setting the stage for increased Russian control. As we move into the 17th century, we see the first real surge of Russian control taking hold. The 17th century marked the beginning of a new era, with Ukraine becoming a pawn in the hands of the powerful Russian Empire. As the century unfolded, Ukraine found itself increasingly under the shadow of its mighty neighbor. From the 17th to the 19th century, Ukraine was part of the expansive Russian Empire, a period that saw the growth of Russian influence in every aspect of Ukrainian society. The empire initiated Russification policies, an attempt to unify the vast empire under a single culture and language. These policies targeted the core of Ukrainian identity, suppressing the use of the Ukrainian language and discouraging expressions of Ukrainian culture. They sought to paint Ukraine as a mere extension of Russia, undermining its unique history and cultural heritage. The influence of the Russian Empire was far-reaching and profound. It reshaped the social, political, and cultural landscape of Ukraine, leaving a lasting legacy. But the tides of change were soon to come, bringing with them a new chapter in Ukraine's history. The 20th century saw Ukraine caught in the throes of the Soviet Union, only to emerge as an independent nation at the end of it. This era was marked by significant events that shaped the nation's identity and destiny. Firstly, the Holodomor in the early 1930s, a man-made famine that claimed millions of Ukrainian lives, was a devastating consequence of Soviet policies. This tragedy left a deep scar on the Ukrainian psyche, strengthening their resolve for autonomy and self-determination. Then came the infamous Chernobyl disaster of 1986. The nuclear accident, the worst of its kind, had profound health, environmental, and social impacts. The Soviet Union's initial attempts to downplay the incident further fueled the growing sentiment of distrust towards Moscow. Throughout this period, Ukrainian nationalism was simmering, a beacon of hope amidst the hardships. This fervor culminated in the Declaration of Independence in 1991 following a national referendum. The Ukrainian people had spoken and their voice echoed a desire for sovereignty and self-governance. Yet, the shadow of Russia loomed large, even in the face of this newfound independence. Moscow's influence did not wane, rather it morphed into a different form. Economic ties, cultural exchanges, and political alliances remained, often serving Russia's interests more than Ukraine's. Independence was not the end of Russian influence, but rather the beginning of a new form of control. The struggle for true autonomy, it seems, was far from over. In the modern era, Russian influence in Ukraine has taken a different, more subversive form. It has gone beyond overt military intervention, seeping into the very fabric of Ukrainian society. Political interference is rife, with Russia often backing candidates sympathetic to its cause, thus subtly influencing Ukraine's domestic policies. Economic control is another tool of influence, with Russia's sizable investments in Ukraine's economy serving as a leash to control the nation's economic trajectory. Yet perhaps the most insidious form of influence is information warfare. This is a modern-day battle for minds where facts are distorted, narratives twisted, and the very idea of Ukrainian sovereignty is undermined. The ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine serves as a stark reminder of this influence, a shadow puppetry where the strings lead back to Moscow. As we have seen, the history of Ukraine is inextricably linked with Russian influence, a relationship that continues to shape the nation's present and future. Scene 6. The Ukrainian resilience. Despite the challenges and external influences, the spirit of the Ukrainian people remains indomitable. Throughout the years, they have shown remarkable resilience and an unwavering commitment to their national identity. They have stood up to the interference and have fought to preserve their sovereignty and independence. We see this resilience in the peaceful protests that sweep across the cities where the Ukrainian people come together, united in their desire for a better future. Clips of the sea of people, waving their blue and yellow flags, singing their national anthem with passion. These are the images that truly define Ukraine. The resilience is also evident in their cultural celebrations, a testament to their rich heritage and history. Footage of colorful traditional dances, the melodious strains of folk music, the vibrant art scene, all serve as a reminder of the Ukrainian spirit that refuses to be subdued. In the everyday life of Ukrainians, this resilience shines through. Whether it's the farmer tending to his fields, the teacher educating the next generation, or the small business owner striving to make ends meet, they all carry within them an unyielding resolve. In the face of adversity, the Ukrainian people have not just survived, but thrived. They have taken control of their narrative, refusing to let it be defined by external influences. This is a story of resilience, of a people standing tall amidst the storm, a beacon of hope and strength in a world often fraught with uncertainty.